A bunch of naked people out in the wild looking for excitement. And in the Amazon rainforest, this is just too much excitement. People used to torture themselves. Only strong players. To adapt to the environment and live a good life. Let me see who the gods are. First in the frame is Steven's team. I don't know if you remember them. Had a good track record in previous challenges. This time to the Amazon. The mood is nervous with a little excitement. Like Steven has signed up 5 times. It can be said that the body is adjusted. I send myself on a wilderness vacation. There is certainly no question of strength. He wants to be the leader of the team. Lisa's a 2-time cancer killer. Even if your partner drops the challenge and goes home, she has a strong will to complete the challenge alone. I don't need to say much about strength. Soon they came to the beginning. The old rules released the shackles of the body. They're used to being on camera, being able to get close in the wild again. Timmy's heart was so happy, just a little worried about the mosquitoes here. That's when the bite gets infected. On the other side, Gary sets up here, to the coast where food resources are unusually abundant. In theory, enough to feed everyone. A survival veteran like Gary. Know exactly how to eat and drink well in the wild. He's not here to challenge, but enjoy the barbecue buffet. I set a small goal before I came. Grab a crocodile for each group. The last challenge was a disease, and had to give up the challenge. This time, I'll fill myself up with antibiotics. He can't get away with it now. He can win. Luther looked much more serious. This challenge is definitely harder than ever. It looks like there's plenty of food. There's also the question of whether they can be caught. They used to hunt pigs with bows and arrows. It's one of the few moments in life that stands out. He hasn't hunted crocodiles yet. It's up to your teammates to fly them. The team atmosphere is good now. Gary was so excited that he screamed. A bunch of guys naked in the wild. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm sure it'll have some color. Look at the fat on your body. I knew I could starve. On the other hand, Kayla's team wasn't so lucky. The first step is to be surrounded by mosquitoes. More worried about being bitten by mosquitoes than starving. That acid really drives people crazy. I can only laugh to relieve the tension. Dan didn't expect the show to be so tough. Let them party with the gnats. What's the challenge here? It's like helping the mosquitoes. Make sure they have fun and fun, as long as you don't get sick. At that time, they even ate pigs. It's just a little hard here. Pray for the crocodile to come to you. Make sure you take care of the 5 insurances and 1 fund. Jamie sees no point in worrying more. Might as well take off your clothes and enter the copy. He can't wait to show it. Let the gnats bite you. Promise not to kill them. And finally, the girls led by Amber. They're about to face a mountain lion. I have to say the show will be arranged. Amber has faced this before. Every time I challenge myself, I get food. In terms of confidence, that's definitely there. She found it easy to fill her stomach. I'm afraid the bad environment will affect the challenge. The last time was frostbite, and the doctor forced him to leave. It was only a few days away from completion. What do you say this time to the end? Jenny is afraid of sudden drop in temperature. I was so cold, I lost consciousness. Forced to go home and wash up. It's going to be a little longer than before anyway. Okay. Cougars are terrible. Better than a tigress. And there are 3 of them. Trish thinks she's already won half the challenge. The rest is up to your teammates, you know. Now they are ready to enter the copy. You don't know who's going to go home first. The show has already prepared the players' equipment. The usual old actors. It satisfies the most basic survival needs of the players. People were very satisfied with that. The most interesting part is Timmy's blowgun. Are you sure this is where you can hunt for food? Kind of looking forward to his performance. Follow the map instructions given by the program team. Everyone is thinking of the altitude. Stay out of the water as much as possible to avoid being spotted by mosquitoes. How about we start with Amber? They're already sick of ants. Fortunately, we found water on the way in. The nearby open space is also good for camping. Just a little more mosquitoes. Amber wants to get this done before dark, but Trish wanted to look around. Amber doesn't want an awkward first day. I had to take my advice and look around. That's about as good as it gets. Build shelters with the help of big trees. In theory, as long as there's no heavy rain, they can live there for a long time. Kayla's team found a suitable spot on this side. Everyone gets along fine. It's just Kayla can't hear Jamie. I wish I could see the barrage. They finally chose to camp here, with a natural barrier. Plus, it's not that far from water. Just take precautions against mosquitoes. This place is a vacation spot. I wanted a room for 3. The material cannot be neglected. It's just the beginning. I have more energy now. Otherwise, it's just cutting wood. You can make a person fall. You're all experienced players. Simple communication has already begun to build. This side of the Gary Formation is more densely vegetated, not conducive to hunting. Better to find an open space. The ground is moist. Snakes, they love this kind of environment. No one thinks about getting bitten on the first day. There's a lot of palm trees on this side. It'll be a lot easier to set up. They just couldn't figure it out. We can't keep wasting time like this. Act first to build. When you have a problem, try to solve it. Gary feels like he can't live without him. There has to be someone on the team who can make decisions. Otherwise, it will be difficult to continue the challenge. And he was nice enough to light the fire. You can drink it with hot water later. With an experienced captain like Gary around, it's a lot easier to feel challenged. The team atmosphere was pretty good. Amber's a little slow here. There are poisonous trees all around. If you accidentally touch the juice, the skin had to be scrapped on the spot. It can even be life-threatening. Great care is needed to cut and collect wood. If I get knocked out for this, it was worse than getting hurt. Amber didn't realize there were so many poisonous trees. I had to stop what I was doing. The mood of anxiety that is very uncomfortable. I don't know. It's psychological. Or the juice actually got it. Amber was so sick she threw up. It's only day 1. I don't think anyone's pulling out of the challenge. That's what my teammates think. Must have touched something in the mouth. Why else would the body be so intense? It's going to take some getting used to. Amber doesn't think it's a big problem. I'm just a little hungry after I throw up. Kayla's team is going a lot easier here. We've got a rough outline of the shelter. Challenges have never gone this well before. Let's just say my teammates are really good. Dan is going to get some water to boil and drink. It looks a little worse, as long as it's boiled and drinkable. Dan was very pleased with Kayla. Not only did it not slow down the team, I also offer you a lot of help. I believe we can complete the challenge together. Steven considered himself very lucky to find such a perfect place. The only downside is that the ground is full of bugs. Just get the elevated platform and the fire right. I don't have to worry about bugs coming to the party. After a brief discussion, take action. Steve's the boss now. He felt that under his leadership. I am sure I can successfully complete the challenge. Lisa had already made the fire. Then bring some water to boil. It already feels like home. There are more palm leaves here in the Gary Formation. These are woven together to make a roof. In theory, you just have to make it dense. Don't worry if it rains hard. Only mosquitoes are impossible to prevent. It's like they're running a cafeteria. The mosquitoes came in batches and batches. Every one of them leaves on a puff. The hum never stops in my ears. I wish I could burn this place to the ground. I couldn't focus on the challenge. Gary wanted to stop and pick his feet. I wish I had a little bug killer. At night, mosquitoes become extremely active. The fire was like a decoration. Doesn't drive away what? So itchy they can only beat themselves. I mean, it's just another one. No intention of stopping at all. A little sleep tonight would be nice. It used to be like playing with mosquitoes. Where is it as crazy as here? They're going to tear people apart. I didn't expect the first night to be so hard. The flame is supposed to keep the bugs away. Why does it feel like it attracts more? Even if you smear mud on your body. Still no way to stop the mosquito army. Just hope we don't get into the weak spots. People would rather fight lions. I don't want to confront mosquitoes. Sleep deprivation is worse than starvation. I barely made it to dawn. People are in a terrible state of mind. Jamie didn't expect it to be this hard. There were gnawing marks all over his back. Didn't even get a chance to sleep last night. The pain was burning everywhere. If this keeps getting worse, I'm afraid I'm about to be carried away. I can think of nothing but smearing mud. A little protection from mosquito bites. I want to stay here for 40 days. We have to upgrade the shelter. The smoke from the fire needs to hang around a little longer, so the mosquitoes don't dare to get too wild. Jamie's in a very wrong state of mind. It's only been a day, and we're at our limit. Part of him wants to give up the challenge and go home. I wouldn't have had the courage to sign up. The other players are feeling bad too, but they choose to stay engaged and challenge. Don't waste time complaining. Just complete the shelter. Then the quality of sleep package can improve. Gary, it's getting better and better. Are you sure you're not going to burn yourself out? Now here's the fun part. It took him a long time to realize that the juice was poisonous. Now my eyes are burning. It turns out being too positive isn't a good thing. Boz didn't expect this. If things don't get better in a minute, I had no choice but to call the doctor. Gary doesn't know if he's going to be okay. Can only rest there for a while. It's hard on Steven's side, too. No one could sleep last night. Lisa was even more outspoken about chemo than she is now. The mood is very low. All that can change now is upgrading the shelter. The mosquitoes must be repelled. I'd rather choke on the smoke. I wouldn't let a bug bite me. Just do what you say and start doing it right away. Try to get a good night's sleep tonight. Amber's just about set up, but mosquitoes are still flying everywhere. The most common method of deworming in the wild. That must be burning termite nests. It's just that the mosquitoes are so vicious around here. Are we sure we can get rid of it? I can't think of a better way. Let's just hope we find a termite nest. Fortunately, one didn't have to go far to find out. That's enough to burn for a couple of nights. And the termites in there can be snacked on. Not to be missed in the wild. Take this back immediately and see what it looks like. Do you think they're going to sleep tonight? Jamie wasn't in physical relief, especially with that sore, swollen foot. I feel bad lifting it up. Work is impossible to work. Just sit there and wonder about life, no matter how much his teammates comfort him. Jamie's answer was either a sore foot or an itchy butt. For a moment, nobody knew what to say, although it would be a shame to give up the challenge the next day. But the body has been frantically flashing red lights. He's here to challenge himself and push the limits. I'm not here to torture myself. I'm still overestimating my abilities. Finally chose to give up the challenge. Boy, it's only the second day. Some have already chosen to go home. People think Jamie's not good enough, or the mosquitoes are too poisonous here. The rest of the team was overwhelmed. No matter how good the challenge was, in the face of new challenges, it is possible to flip over. Gary's hasn't gotten better yet. I don't suppose he's going home, too. The only good news is there are no other symptoms. Don't call the doctor for a while. There are a lot of unfamiliar trees around. You can really send yourself away by cutting it down. You have to deal with mosquitoes at night. This challenge is really not easy. I wish I had clean water for my eyes right now. It's just hard to tell with the water around. It would be bad if things got any worse. Gary didn't expect such bad luck. For safety's sake, ask the staff to bring purified water for cleaning. The trees Gary encountered were poisonous. Cleaning alone is not enough. It has to be treated with eye drops. If it doesn't get better in 2 hours, Gary's going to have to go to the hospital. This is really bad luck. Anything can go wrong, you know. Steven's team is perfecting the shelter. It's got a big crown on it. Not at all worried about the storm. The roof is mainly to keep out mosquitoes. I'd rather it rained every day than hang out with them. Steve and Timmy are going to find termite nests to burn. Lisa had no idea it was so bad. If we quit the challenge now, I wonder what everyone will think. The bugs are worse than the last challenge. You're really pinning your hopes on the termite nest. I hope you get a good night's sleep. The termite nests we found here are not very large, but it's enough to burn for a night or two. Timmy accidentally found fruit on the tree. It's a great mosquito repellent. The problem is it's too high. I'm afraid we'll have to cut the tree down. Luckily, there were fallen fruits around, plus the termite nest in your hand. If any more mosquitoes come in at night, just eat it yourself. So it's important to read more books. You wouldn't even know it was there. Gary's hasn't gotten better yet. Worried about what might go wrong. My teammates came by to check in. If you go blind for the challenge, the price is too high. The staff asked for Gary's opinion. What else is there to say? Then it must be important to go to the hospital. Gary didn't expect to leave the next day. Of all the challenges I've taken part in, this is the worst. What can you say about your teammates? You never know what an accident is. Gary was in a very low mood. Let's just say it was a difficult challenge. 2 have already given up the challenge and gone home. Fortunately, we got to the hospital in time. Gary had his eyes treated. He made a full recovery and returned home 3 days later. Stephen cut open the fruit to repel mosquitoes. I don't know if it worked. Chew it up and spit it out in your hands. Just a little less mosquito bite. Amber's trying to burn the termite nest. It doesn't smell very good. It could be psychological. My skin doesn't feel as itchy as it used to. Just see how it goes at night. After Gary left, Vaz and Luther have to keep going. Mosquito bites are becoming more frequent. If you accidentally get malaria, I'm afraid we can join Gary now. The only good thing might be, 2 people living together is less crowded. Is this height safe from mosquitoes? With Kayla, the bugs are going crazy again. They're going to bite everywhere. Stevens is a little better than that. Under the dual repellent of termite nests and fruit. Finally get a good night's sleep. Try to get everything ready before the storm. It suddenly rained heavily during the night. The temperature is dropping off a cliff. The fire can't even keep it warm. The shelter was a little worse. There's still rain seeping into it. If it rains all night, I don't know how many people will lose it. Day 3 of the challenge. Lisa was very disappointed in the shelter. It's not warm and it leaks. Worst of all, there were more mosquitoes after the rain stopped. My body was shaking. Timmy doesn't know how long he can stay. Sleep time these days. That's probably less than 2 hours. Is this a place for people to stay? That means Steven's skin is thick. You can fall asleep under mosquito bites. After all, he has participated in many challenges. The first few days are going to be tough. Anything that makes it through will make a little better. Thought I'd find something nice to eat nearby. I didn't think I'd get stuck in a swamp. It is not easy to walk. The leader must take good care of the players. Now go and collect some palm leaves, so it can stay dry even if it rains. Don't look at the woman talking and laughing. Not doing so well either. They really want a place to clean up. There's a lot of palm frond around here. These need to be machined and woven. For the next storm, no rain can get down inside. Amber wanted to go fishing at the pond. There'll be plenty of bait around. She's confident she can feed the team. The trap for catching fish is simple. Just a pole stuck in the dirt. Just tie some fishing line to it. On the other side, I was fishing myself. There's nothing good about the gas shelter. It rained last night, and it's all wet in there. There are mosquitoes everywhere at my feet. Compared with the arrival, the foot is swollen a lot. I'm afraid you'll get rheumatism if you go on like this. The shelter that Gary directed, it still doesn't make sense. It takes more time and effort to adjust. Kayla's side is also perfecting the shelter. They'll do a lot better. You know it can withstand the rain. The two work particularly well together. It's just bugs buzzing around. I want to plug my ears. Dan was very comfortable on it. Hopefully the smoke down there will keep the mosquitoes away. At this pace, we should be able to make it through 40 days without a problem. When Dan went to collect his materials, there's a big bird out there. Without a moment's hesitation, grabbed the machete and aimed straight at the prey. Oh my God, there you have it. Kayla thought she was dreaming. It's a little rough around here, but there's a lot of food. The bird is not difficult to handle. After a while, the two were eating barbecue. Until it's crunchy, it feels good to have meat. Timmy and the boys came fishing. I thought it was going to be hard to catch. I didn't think it would take more than a few minutes. I've already caught a fish, a little bit smaller, but this one is really easy to catch. Take it back to cook immediately. Life is getting better and better. This is the right way to open for wilderness survival. The smell of fish collides in my mouth. You never get tired of it every day. Amber also successfully caught the fish. There's movement in the trap next door. I have to say, the fish here are really easy to catch. Take it back to camp and share it. No one can refuse this delicious taste. Just put it in the pot and cook it. The smell is already very satisfying. If I could get one a day. 40 days doesn't seem too hard. Kind of forgot about the gnats for a while. The smell of fish in my head. What people don't expect is that. After the fish on the Lisa's side, I feel very upset in my stomach. I couldn't help but spit it out. Boy, I don't think there's going to be another problem. Lisa doesn't know what's going on. It's just a lot of physical pain. Jenny had the same problem. I don't think it's really the fish. It's getting worse and worse. Amber thinks it's just not fitting in. You'll be fine if you throw up. As the night went on, Lisa's condition got worse. And then the mosquitoes come in. The body was about to break down. The other contestants are having a hard time, too. Various methods have been tried to combat mosquitoes, but it didn't work out very well. It's just a bunch of gnats at any time now. It's only going to get worse. I want to lie in the smoke. Another sleepless night. I barely made it to day 4. Lisa woke up and wanted to dry herself in a fire, but tried many times without success. He was devastated emotionally. Gas's foot is getting swollen, even up to the calf. This is clearly a bug bite problem. Go on like this. It's no use starving yourself. Once infected, you can only quit the challenge. There is still much to be done. I can only ask Luther now. He didn't want to go into the water to catch fish. We're going to have to build a pier. Luther is really nice. No complaints at all. So quietly take action. Lisa's not holding up anymore. I just didn't realize Timmy was leaving too. He hasn't even shown the blowgun yet. It's a shame to quit the challenge. Steven is in the dark. 4 days, and I'm saying goodbye to my teammates. Is it hard to do anything on your own? For people who have dropped out of the challenge in just 4 days, there are also a number of players who are not feeling well. How many people will finish the challenge? Let's wait and see.